Tips to help you get started. I know it's very confusing when you start, very daunting and tiring, frustrating. So I'm gonna go over 12 tips to help you get through your first month of training. I've been open for about 3 years now, so I see a lot of people struggling the first month. Some quit before they even make it to the second month. So hopefully these 12 tips will help you stick around longer and really get the benefits of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay, first thing I want to go over is warm-ups. Okay, the warm-ups are really important for new people because it's going to help you get familiar on how to move your body, especially for safety reasons, like doing a break fall without hitting your head, doing a forward and back row, shrimping, moving your hips, also warming up properly to get the blood flowing and get your body warm to perform jiu-jitsu. At first, a lot of beginners are going to have a hard time with the warm-ups. It is different for a lot of people. You got to be a little bit more flexible, got to be a little bit coordinated, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. So the key thing about warm-ups too is when you get to the sparring rolling part, the warm-ups like sprawling, break fall, and every single warm-up we do, you're gonna find that it's the same movements you do in sparring and rolling. So I really strongly advise you guys do the warm-ups. Is very important. Okay, that's the key to starting out jiu-jitsu. Second point I want to make, when you're practicing a situation, say like we do a lot of pass or sweep scenarios in practice, try not to panic. If they pass your guard or if you can't do the objective, don't worry about it. It's just like a trial run for you to try it out, and then we're going to help you fix it with technique. So try to stay calm and don't ever panic in training. You can't go wrong if you just stay calm and not worry about the outcome, but think about what's happening when you're practicing. Okay, and then we'll fix it. We'll help you fix it. Again, so the third point here, the key is practice the techniques you learn. So every class, I'm going to go over one position and about 3 or 4 techniques. The importance of really sticking with trying the techniques is you have to get good at it by trying it. Of course, the first time, even the first 10 times, you're going to fail. But the more you keep practicing, you're going to find how it should feel correctly, and you're going to be able to hit the move. Too many people abandon trying the technique and they fall back to like using power or strength to get the objective done, which is not good, because in the long run you really want to get the technique down and not power or explode out of positions. That's not a technique. Okay? That type of full strength is not going to last in a fight, and it won't last in jiu-jitsu. You'll get tired. So learning the proper technique takes time, but it's worth it. It's going to save you energy in the long run. Okay, now to the fourth point. Again, don't worry about winning or losing in practice. Every practice we do, every position, every scenario, it's just for you to practice. Okay, there's no winning or losing. If your partner gets the sweep, then you restart. If your partner passes your guard, you get the restart. So you can always try and try again. Like, don't make practice a win or lose, and you keep trying until the very, very end, and you might get hurt. That's what I see with beginners. You know, they're practicing, they're holding a position, maybe their finger gets stuck or their toes are stuck in a bad position. They don't want to lose, and then something snaps. That's not good in practice. You should always tap to stop, save your limbs. You should never think about, well, I don't want to lose. There is no winning and losing in practice. Practice is about learning. I see that a lot with beginners. When we're practicing, that has no bearing for me. I'm not keeping score. If you want to keep a win or lose attitude, you should compete in a tournament, not in practice. Okay, goes down to my fifth tip would be tap anytime. So whenever you tap your partner, that means to stop the action. It doesn't mean that you got submitted, doesn't mean that you're losing, it just means to stop the action. So tap your partner anytime to stop the action. Some people think tapping is losing, it's not. Tapping means stop, and then you go ahead and figure out why, and you learn from it. Again, practice, there is no winning or losing. Beginners need to get that very important message. Tapping is not losing, so don't worry about tapping. I tap, everybody taps. You're a beginner, you're gonna tap a lot. And you're probably not gonna be hitting moves anyway for your first month, so don't worry about it. You know, you're here to train safely, so the key is tap anytime, tap your partner, that means stop the action. Okay, number 6. I get this question a lot from students. What should they focus on? Every beginner should focus on defense and escaping. Okay? Don't start jiu-jitsu and think you're gonna submit everybody. That's not gonna happen. Your main concern is learning the defense and the escapes. Okay, so one of the first classes we do is mount escape. When someone's mounted on you and you're on the bottom, you need to learn how to escape safely. And you need to learn how to escape and defend without getting punched and without getting choked. And in every position, there's gonna be a dominant side, and there's gonna be you don't wanna get stuck there, right? So like mount, the bottom, you should never get stuck in the bottom. You don't wanna be there. You're gonna be dominated and submitted. If you're on the top of the mount, you're dominating the fight or the roll, you don't have to worry. You're in a powerful position to submit when you want. So in jiu-jitsu, every position you should learn, where am I at? Is this a good position or a bad position? If you're in a bad position, focus on escaping. And don't worry about submitting anybody for the first month or two. That's not gonna happen. So I think even me, when I started, I tried to submit people, it never happened. I just got frustrated. I learned later that I should be focusing on escaping more. That's what you should be focusing on your first 2 months, 3 months, on escaping. Okay, point number 7. I see this a lot too. When we're practicing, I see people trying too hard, they're holding their breath, they're like turning red, they're putting all their energy and squeezing their partner like a death grip. That shouldn't happen in training. You should relax, remember to breathe, and if you're doing something at 100% in practice, you're probably doing it wrong. So you should relax and try to do the technique correctly. It should be minimum effort. Techniques don't take more than 50% of your strength. And some of my beginners, I've seen them gas out, turn bright red, and pass out in 2 minutes. That's not good. That's not how you practice. You shouldn't be practicing with 100% effort and running out of breath and passing out. That's not what you want to do in practice. So try to relax and breathe while you're practicing. Okay, another question I get a lot, point number 8, is how often should you train? I recommend training 2 to 3 times a week, just so you don't forget what you learned last week, and that you can continue to progress with learning more, because you're going to build on your last class. The last class you were here, and you're going to build off of that and gain more knowledge, gain more technique. So As a beginner, I really recommend 2 to 3 times a week of training. Once a week is not enough when you first started. Definitely at least twice a week, if not more. Okay, point number 9. Learn all the main positions in Jiu-Jitsu. Like I went over, mount. There's the back take, side control, knee on belly, turtle, half